For those of you who don't yet know me, I am a 30-something-year-old Black woman who doesn't work anymore. And I accomplished this without being a millionaire, without winning the lottery, and without having six-figure savings. Naturally, there's been some curiosity about how I did this, so I'd like to talk about an aspect of that today. The most impactful thing that I think helped me in my quest to not work anymore was to move to another country. And I think that moving could be very impactful for you as well, at least a good number of you listening to this. So why did I move? Where did I move from? And why should you consider a move? The short of it is that moving helped me to significantly decrease my cost of living. From moving within the country to moving out of the country, both types of move helped me and my husband to decrease our cost of living. And whether you move to a new city, province, state, or country, I think that a move could help you too, if this is the type of life that you want. So the first move we made was within Canada, moving from Ontario to Saskatchewan, where we knew nothing and no one. And we made this move because we knew we could buy a home there and not have a mortgage, which was a goal that we had. And we knew that that would help to significantly decrease our expenses. And we were right. Our expenses went from an average of about $4,500 a month to $2,500 a month. However, $2,500 a month is still a lot of money. So although we decreased our expenses by moving, the cost of living was still quite high, especially if I wanted to take some time off because I was burned out from my job. So once I got laid off from my job, we looked over our finances and realized if I didn't want to work anymore, and if we didn't want to work anymore, it would take a lot more money. And with inflation going up, and I had zero faith that it would go back down, I still don't think it will. And with wages not keeping up with cost of living, I realized that we would constantly be on the hamster wheel trying to survive. I mean, yeah, between the two of us, we could probably make $2,500 a month, even accounting for the high taxes. But do you know how long it would take us to retire? And how much money we'd need to make to do that? And how long we'd need to work? Make it worse that many jobs either don't offer benefits or offer the bare minimum, and they definitely aren't offering anything meaningful for retirement. And even if they were, we probably wouldn't be able to stay long enough at those jobs because they'd probably lay us off to save $1. So it was kind of depressing. As much as we had cut down on our expenses compared to Ontario, based on how things were looking, I thought that we would probably need to work forever. So rather than get down and depressed about it, I decided to look into my options. And I could either find another job online, probably for less pay because the job market sucked and it still sucks. But that wasn't a good idea because my brain was done. I was about ready to pack it up and live it in the woods, y'all. I was done. The next option was that I could find an in-person job, which, I'd probably get fired because I'd be so devoid of life, so that wasn't gonna work. The next option was that I could just take a few months off. We did have some savings, but then what if I couldn't find another job? Our savings would only help for a few months or so out there, and depending on my husband's income alone in this economy, no. I think that's too risky. And the last option that I thought of was to live my life now and consider going somewhere where our money could go further. So I chose the last option, and hubby agreed with it, and we sold everything we could, packed up the essentials, rented our home out to our long-term tenants, and then we left. So although moving to another province did help a lot, I still wasn't free, and I didn't feel free. So we decided to move to my husband's home country, which has lower cost of living, warm weather all year round, yay. And it's also easy for me to live there permanently because I have residency through marriage and I could get citizenship by descent. Now, why do I think moving would be helpful for you? Honestly, I think it could be a great way to cut down on your expenses. I'm not saying that you need to necessarily do what I did, right? Like, you don't need to go out and buy a home outright, and that's not something that's necessary for everyone. But there are moves that you can make to help you significantly decrease your cost of living. And when you decrease your cost of living, you can save more or have the ability to work less, and you can have more opportunities to live your life on your terms. So, what are some of the moves that you can make? I have a list here. It's not exhaustive, but these are just to give you some ideas. You can move to another city or province that has lower cost of living. I think the best way to do this is by getting a job online that doesn't care where in the country that you live. I'll leave a few sites in the description below that usually have online jobs. You can do one of those workaway programs where you volunteer or do like a few hours of work for room and board. You can usually find these type of programs at national parks, but various countries do have something like this as well. You could be a live-in nanny or a care worker, so you'll get paid and have a place to live for free, maybe also free food, but you'll just need to care for someone. You could house sit or pet sit. So you may not get paid for this, but you can live in someone else's home for free while they travel. And you can actually do this in multiple countries, especially if you want to travel and you're looking to save on expenses. You can go cruising. So there are a lot of people who are full-time cruisers because it can be less expensive, like depending on where you live, it can be less expensive to live on a cruise than to live in one place. So you'll get food, shelter, fun, and travel all included in the price. You can get a job in another country. You likely won't get paid as much as somewhere in the West, right? So if you live in Canada or the US or the UK, things like that, you may not get as paid as much as there, but you'll usually get paid significantly more than the cost of living in that country because they want to attract outside talent. You can live in a lower cost of living country on a student, retirement, nomad, or other type of residency visa. To live in another country, many people think that you need citizenship, and you don't. You don't need citizenship. What you need is residency. And for some countries, you can actually stay for 3 to 6 months without any type of special visa. Another option is that you can downsize and live in a car, a van, a bus, things like that. Many people have actually done this successfully, even with kids and even in winter weather. This is actually an option that I was considering before, our first move to Saskatchewan, but yeah, my husband wasn't having that. I mean, like, he was willing to live in an RV, but he drew the line at a bus, so that didn't work out. Anyway, as I mentioned, like, this is not an exhaustive list. There are more options. There are more types of moves that you could make, but I just wanted to give you some ideas to show you that you do have options, right? That there are many ways that you could make a move. And some moves, they'll require a little bit more money up front, some will require less, and some require almost no money. So your options will really depend on what you want to do and how you want to live. I'm also going to link some YouTubers in the description below who talk more in depth about some of the options I mentioned. In my case, my move to freedom was moving to another country. Between the rental income that I get from my home and my dollar going further here, my husband and I no longer have to work anymore. And our life probably doesn't seem very exciting to others, but it's enjoyable to us. It's freedom for us. So, after all that I've just said, I'm curious to know what freedom would look like for you. Comment below and let me know. I'd also love to know if any of the move ideas I mentioned were interesting to you or resonated with you or had you thinking like, hey, maybe I could try that. Let me know which one interested you the most. In either case, I really, truly hope that this video inspired you. My entire goal with creating these videos is to inspire you to live the life that you want. Like, yeah, the economy sucks, the world kind of sucks, and you may be thinking life sucks and you'll never be able to get the things you want, or that you'll always struggle. But it doesn't have to be that way. It isn't that way for me, and it doesn't have to be that way for you. You can have the life that you want if you want it. So if you enjoyed this video, I would recommend subscribing if you haven't already, so you don't miss my next ones. I kind of create videos whenever the mood hits, so subscribing will help ensure that you don't miss any of those videos, and at minimum, liking the video will help YouTube recommend other videos like this one. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.